This is a ruling bunch behind me. Oh my gosh. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Great to see you. Wonderful turnout. Really appreciate you. We are here today to talk about Oregon's long-term prosperity. And there is no better place to talk about Oregon's economic future than here at a company that believes in Oregon's promise. Lamb Research's recently announced $65 million investment in Oregon shows exactly what we're fighting for. Companies that choose to grow here, that create opportunity here, that see Oregon as a place to build what is next. So today I am here to lift up and emphasize that Oregon is open for business. We are, thank you. We are ready to roll up our sleeves to support business and create more good-paying jobs for Oregonians. The roadmap that I'm putting forth today reflects the perspectives of more than 350 businesses around our state, as well as Oregon's leading business associations and economic experts. This roadmap complements and builds on the work that we've been doing together to expand housing, to strengthen public education, to make sure there is more access to mental health and addiction care. These things and more good jobs are how we're going to make sure that Oregon is a livable, thriving place to be. Oregon's next decade can and will deliver extraordinary growth and real affordability if we act now. Now is our opportunity. Today, we plant the seeds for long-term prosperity. We shape an Oregon where good-paying jobs are within reach for every Oregonian, where businesses that were built here can thrive, and new businesses that come here will see more success. So I want to be honest and talk about where we stand today. Oregon faces the same headwinds that are hitting other states: sluggish job growth, elevated unemployment, and declining population trends. And some of our homegrown businesses have left, and there is a lot of bureaucratic red tape that has been blocking critical investments. And on top of that, the federal chaos makes it worse. Ever-changing tariff policies threaten our businesses, deteriorating relationships abroad jeopardize our export partnerships, and steep federal budget cuts will make Oregon families poorer, sicker, and hungrier, pushing economic opportunity further out of reach. And these headwinds are strong. But I don't back down from challenges, especially when it comes to improving the well-being of Oregon and the prosperity of our state as a whole. We have to do this together, and that's what we're here today to talk about. Here's the good news. The foundation here in our state for economic growth here in Oregon is extraordinary. We're renowned for innovation and entrepreneurship. Our industries, from berries and hazelnuts and wheat to high tech and outdoor and athletic apparel, create opportunity statewide. Our workers are highly skilled and ready. Our research universities drive new ideas and technological advances. And our quality of life and natural beauty make Oregon not just smart for business, but a fantastic place to live, work, and raise a family. Now, we must bring our full potential to bear, working together to create an economy that does indeed work for everyone. By uniting around a statewide vision and working with our partners in the private sector and in the legislature, we can coordinate our talents and our assets. We can ensure that Oregon doesn't just keep up, but actually leads in sustained economic growth. So my prosperity roadmap has 3 goals. 1, we want to grow our state economy faster than the national average. 2, we want to create more living wage jobs right now. And 3, we want to attract new businesses and grow the ones that are already here. And there are specific goals in the document that's been handed out. To accomplish these goals, I think it's important to tap the expertise that is inside and outside our state to help deliver on these goals. I will be establishing the Governor's Prosperity Council, convening business and workforce experts to support the roadmap and advise me and my office on additional recommendations. We have the co-chairs of that Prosperity Council here today, Curtis Robinhold, Executive Director of the Port of Portland, and Renee James, founder and CEO of Ampere. They will lead that council, and let's give a round of applause for stepping up today. I think they're going to stop taking my phone calls, but I appreciate their commitment to Oregon. They are true leaders, and we are going to convene a great group of folks to support their work. I'm also going to be naming a Chief Prosperity Officer in my office to help turn this roadmap into action and serve as a central point of contact for our business leaders. Working with the council, my Chief Prosperity Officer will develop recommendations to create jobs and grow our GDP, including work in the upcoming legislative sessions. My plan is to announce both the Chief Prosperity Officer and the remaining members of the Prosperity Council by the end of the calendar year. And then as for next year's legislative session, I will be introducing legislation to jumpstart this roadmap. My bill will seek to establish a fast-track program, a streamlined permitting process for larger projects that create jobs and grow Oregon's economy. The concept includes a requirement for state agencies to inventory existing permit processes and to speed up those processes. I will also be advocating for modernizing some of our existing economic development tools, like our enterprise zones, as quickly as we can. And I will be lobbying the legislature to dedicate some one-time money to address industrial site readiness. As it comes to state government, internal to state government, I will be directing Business Oregon, our lead agency, to create a comprehensive economic development strategy. I will be launching a global trade desk to focus foreign trade and investment opportunities, and I'm directing all state agencies to prioritize economic development in their day-to-day work. These strategies are just the beginning. Just as we relied on a lot of creative, awesome leadership across our state from everyday Oregonians to craft this roadmap, I'm counting on Oregonians across the state to help us make this real. We are all partners in building an Oregon where entrepreneurs are eager to start businesses, where economic opportunity and good paying jobs are within reach for every Oregonian, and this is for every corner of our state. We will see regional development. Every corner of our state can benefit from this roadmap. Together, we can and will create an economy that works for everyone, an economy where innovation thrives, families prosper, and no one gets left behind. And so my ask for the folks who are here and the folks who are watching, let's do this together. Let's get focused. Let's take all the tools that are on our hands that we know will get us to that next decade, the next decade after that, of seeing growth and prosperity for every part of our state, for every Oregonian. I know we can do this. We can beat these headwinds, and we can create the jobs we need for people around this state. And I have some great folks behind me who are going to help us do that. And with the Prosperity Council and with the leaders here in the state, we know we can do this. I know we can do this. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you to make sure Oregon can truly be the place where everyone can thrive and we have the economy that we can be proud of. So thank you for being here. With that, I have a list of wonderful speakers to follow me here, and I would like to start off by turning over the mic to Sesha Varadarajan, who is the Senior Vice President of Global Products Group here at Lam Research. So thank you.
Thank you, Governor, and welcome. And there are people I've worked with for 20 years here who have still not gotten my name right, so kudos to you for that. So, as she said, I'm in charge of global products here at Lam Research. Like me and thousands of other co-workers, we are proud to call this region our home. And so it's a special honor to host this event here in our campus. Oregon State delivers exceptional opportunities for growth, holds tremendous promise for our future. And really, where we are in this building, it shows what's possible when industry and government and community come together for a purpose. For those who are not familiar about Lam Research, we are a global supplier of wafer fab equipment. Effectively, we make the machines that companies use to produce chips. And some of the products that we have developed here are at the center of the AI revolution. I was talking earlier with the governor about a product that we call Sabre 3D. Each and every HBM memory chip that's key for AI is built right here in Oregon, and it's designed, developed, innovated on here. With over 3 decades of history here, when time came to plan our next expansion, the decision was very easy. Right here, where we call home, is where we chose to put this beautiful new building. We celebrated the ribbon cutting here barely 10 days ago. Many of you were there for that. We thank those who attended that event and also who sent representatives for that. Our commitment to Oregon goes beyond just technology. It's to the community that we serve. Through partnerships with Oregon State University, FAST Consortium, Portland and Clackamas community colleges, and support to organizations like Girls Inc., we are helping strengthen the region's innovation ecosystem and preparing the leaders for the future. While this campus investment is significant for us, the reality is we have much bigger plans ahead, and that's why we welcome Governor's Prosperity Roadmap and the formation of the Council. This roadmap reflects exactly why we plan to continue growing our business here. Every day we see engaged and accessible leaders collaborating across sectors with a commitment to challenging what is possible and executing on the commitments made. For companies like us that believe deeply in Oregon's potential, investing here is not just a strategic decision, it's a smart bet on a state that's positioning itself well for the future. Modernizing economic development tools like SIP is critical for our sustained leadership. So we welcome the investment roadmap outlined by the governor that seeks to address challenges like that to help with R&D and manufacturing in Oregon and provided clear advantages. We also welcome the roadmap's effort to streamline regulations and advance a more competitive tax structure. This encourages companies like us who invest for the long term to plan and put down more roots here. The Prosperity Roadmap will have a clear direct impact on our industry by setting clear and measurable goals, and will further enhance Oregon's competitiveness in today's fast evolving market. Thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for your partnership. We are proud to grow in Oregon and proud of what we will build together. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Curtis Robinhold, Executive Director of the Port of Portland, and for those of you who don't know the Port is a public entity in the metropolitan area that is really driving towards shared prosperity. We do that through ownership of Portland International Airport, but also through marine facilities and industrial land throughout the Portland metropolitan area. Our mission, however, is really about delivering shared prosperity through travel, trade, and economic development, and that's why I'm here today. I'm actually here today because the governor called. And being a former governor's staffer, when the governor calls, you answer and you say yes, and then you wait to hear what the question was. The question of the governor was, will you help me with Renee James to lead a group to really take a hard run at the important issues challenging us in job creation around the state of Oregon? And of course I said yes to that charge. We are going to have a really hard look at the barriers that businesses are facing, whether they're big businesses or small ones, whether they're in rural Oregon or in metropolitan areas. It's going to be, I hope, fast. I'm going to look at Renee James behind me. It's going to be meaningful, and we're going to focus on really hearing as many different perspectives in this question as we can. So thank you, Governor. Appreciate your trust and faith in me and in Renee James, who I'll introduce here, but really looking forward to the work. Really appreciate the engagement and the support of everyone in this room in the work that lies ahead. So following me is my co-chair, Renee James, who's the founder and CEO of Ampere.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming today. I did answer the governor's phone call. I'm actually quite honored to be asked to be the co-chair with Curtis, who's accomplished so much, so I have high confidence we'll get a lot more done. Some of you know I spoke last year at the Oregon Business Council, and I said we needed to do better. No good deed goes unpunished. I think we can do better. And so Curtis and I are going to endeavor to do that. I started a company in Oregon after a lengthy, almost 30-year career running Intel. Not the whole time, but working at Intel and then running Intel. I have a lot of experience with employment in Oregon, the barriers and the successes. I started my own company, which grew to be almost a couple thousand people in the Pearl District, you know, in semiconductors. And I'm a huge fan of what can be accomplished in this state. There are many things that we can do better, and I think Curtis and I are going to listen to a lot of people and consider the challenges of entrepreneurship, which I've had both big business and entrepreneurship in this state, and what we can do to bring prosperity, as the governor outlined. And I'm really quite honored to be able to participate in this, so thank you. Oh, wait, I'm going to introduce Christopher Evans next. Where are you? You're behind me. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Chris Evans. I'm the president of Timber Lab. And Timber Lab is a mass timber manufacturer founded here in Oregon, located in Oregon, and we're investing heavily in the state. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our story. First, we chose Oregon because Oregon has three essential assets to do remarkable things. It has the resources, it has the people, it has the attitude. And this combination, these assets provide the foundation for Timber Lab and our parent company, Swinnerton. Swinnerton's been around for 137 years. It's an employee-owned company. A lot of the money we're investing in the state is shareholder money back into the state to grow mass timber business across the country. We've done great things. We've built the tallest building in the country in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, actually North America, out of mass timber. Nobody thought you could build a 26-story building out of wood, but we did that. We participated on the Portland airport, so when you look up and see the wood, that's coming from our company with manufacturing done right in Portland. We're also building a 200,000 square foot cross-laminated timber manufacturing facility in Millersburg. This is a huge investment into the state, and it hasn't been without its challenges. There's hurdles to cross whenever we're coming to build such big buildings like this. That's permitting, jurisdictional issues, all of the issues and red tape that you could think about associated with building a large manufacturing building. On top of that, the things that might be the surprise, you sign contracts to bring in European equipment to create a state-of-the-art facility, and then you are exposed to $5 to $10 million of tariff exposure overnight. So those challenges are outside of the state of Oregon, but there are challenges within the state of Oregon. We really believe that Oregon is the epicenter for mass timber. Mass timber, we started here in 2017 by building an office building in Hillsboro. That building turned into a company today with over 225 people, where we're putting over $200 million into the state with glulam manufacturing facilities outside of Eugene. We bought a sawmill in Philomath, Oregon. We're putting in this CLT facility in Millersburg. We're investing a lot in this state, but we need a fast track towards prosperity. And we believe that our collective commitment and investment and appetite to embrace risk can help us do this. So we plan to open that facility in Millersburg in the beginning of 2027, and that is specifically unique in that it's geared to deliver mass timber not only to the commercial construction market, but also to the residential market, because there is housing crisis and housing need across the state and across the country. We've succeeded tirelessly identifying and building relationships with extraordinary individuals, and there's some unsung heroes. One is somebody like Kevin Kreitman, the city manager in Millersburg. They made the development process easier. We looked for site selection for years, but he really came in and moved those hurdles out of the way to help it be as easy as possible. And we need more people like him that are helping us remove those hurdles. We believe in sustainable forestry. We believe in the state of Oregon, and we're excited about our next chapter here. So thank you very much. I'll introduce Tim Boyle, CEO of Columbia.
Thanks, Chris, and Governor, thanks for asking me to speak today. Some of my professional advisors have recommended that I relocate to another state. Instead, I'm here today because we have the opportunity for Oregon to be the destination for prosperity. We all know Oregon is a great place to live. Oregon is also a great place to domicile a company if the company has most of its sales outside of Oregon. Today, the business climate in Oregon, particularly in Portland and Multnomah County, is increasingly unfavorable for growth, retention, and recruitment. It hampers our efforts to attract new businesses and out-of-state talent, which are essential to running our companies and our institutions. Portland business taxes have grown 82% since 2019. And as widely reported, Portland ranks second in the nation for individual tax rates, trailing only New York City. The Multnomah County preschool tax is sitting on $500 million in cash and not delivering the services that they promised. The destruction of the values in real estate in Portland and Multnomah County due to outmigration is unprecedented and must be addressed. The death tax. As I said, my accountants and estate attorneys regularly advise me to leave Oregon. We all know successful Oregonians who have quietly done so. But we can turn things around. I'm thrilled that the governor has launched her prosperity roadmap because Oregon is unique globally in its spectacular geographic and climatic diversity. People actually come here for the rain. Just ask Mike Kaiser at Bandon Dunes. We must emphasize and promote our geographic location, our global leadership in digital chips, apparel, footwear, forest products, agriculture, and our strong and diverse workforce. As good as Oregon is, we must be competitive in taxation, regulation, and education in order to encourage businesses to start here, to come here, to grow here, and to stay here. And together we can do it. I'm reminded of an advertisement that the Oregon Economic Development Commission regularly ran in the 70s to attract business to our state. The headline read, "Don't send anyone to Oregon you expect to get back." Thank you.
So I think we have a few minutes, and thank you everyone for being here. We have a few minutes for questions from the press, and feel free to jump up if it feels like you want to answer this. So,
We're just in the ground rules.
okay.
Take the mic from your governor. Whoop. All right, so we're in a beautiful new space, reporters, but the rules are the same. I will call on you in person. We'll switch off between in person and virtual. Lucas is going to be fielding those virtual questions. Even in person, he's got a fancy mic to hand you so you can get your audio to the folks listening virtually. We don't have too much time, about 10 minutes, so let's focus on the prosperity roadmap and questions around economic development first. And I'm going to try to get everybody to at least have one question. Sound good?
Are you calling on folks?
I am.
Okay.
Alex, go ahead.
I think I'm okay.
Hey, Alex.
What's a very specific example of a permit that is holding Oregon businesses back? I think we talk in abstractions about this. What's a real thing that people can look at and say, yeah, that does seem out of date, assuming that all of these things existed for a reason at some point?
Thanks for the question. I don't think it's about questioning why we have certain things. Well, there are things on the books, there are regulations that we believe in and have been put there. What I have found and what I've heard from folks here and around the state is, fine, if you want me to meet this permit, and this permit, I get it. But can I get it quickly? Can I do these things contemporaneously? Why do I have to wait for one to get to the next one? We put so much time and effort in the way for people to grow. People are willing to do this. We just have to make it easier. And so one of the things that I want is for the agencies to inventory what our processes are, how can we streamline that, and some of that is doing them at the same time. I was glad to have Chris here from Timber Lab. Our regional solutions team was consistently working with them in Millersburg. They have a great local set of partners there. But it was one thing after the other. It's like, can't we do this all at the same time? And that is one of the things we have to look at. So I would think about it not like which one has to go away. How do these work better together, and how effectively and efficiently can we get it done so businesses have consistency and certainty, so they can get to their timeline, so they can get people hired and start doing whatever they need to do.
I do want you to wait for the mic.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Governor.
Hey.
I mean to guess some people in this room, some of your critics, would say that you are complicit, given your time in government, with some of the bureaucratic red tape we've seen. Maybe an unfavorable tax structure that is making business hard here. And that you've maybe ignored some of this for a long time when we were in sunnier economic times. I wonder what you would say to that, because I expect we will hear it, and what has brought you to this moment now where suddenly economic development is really at the fore?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a sudden interest. What I would say is, first of all, it's a little bit of a cynical question. Here's what I would say. The things that I have started with as governor were the things that I heard on the campaign trail, which were very much part and parcel to the livability of our state. Housing, education, healthcare. We're not stepping back from any of those. But in the conversations as I've traveled the state, my first year, my second year, this year has been particularly unique because we're trying to do our thing here, and the federal administration, between tariffs and uncertainty around regulations, has thrown a curveball. So in terms of timing, why this conversation now is legislators are talking very specifically about it. We've seen study after study that says we have headwinds in front of us. We also have a lot of assets here. So the purpose of this roadmap is to focus folks, to get more experts around the table and say, this is our starting point, what else can we do? More than 350 businesses around the state, whether they were interacting with Business Oregon or my office or Regional Solutions, has said these are the types of things we need to do to allow our homegrown businesses to grow with certainty and bring in folks. People want our clean water, our clean electricity. They want to live here. We have to make it easier. So I think this is a starting point of a compilation of things that have already been underway, but putting them in one spot and saying, we've got to focus here, folks. If we're not intentional about growing our state, we're just going to be left behind. This is a moment of intentionality that we all have to share.
No other virtual, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to clarify, you mentioned in the roadmap the goal of taking Oregon to the top 10 in certain rankings. Is there a set kind of date that you really expect to be ranked in top 10?
Well, I'll be looking to my Prosperity Council to give us, break into those details, but that's the North Star. We want to go up in rank in workforce and other things. We want to increase our GDP. So those are the goals. And with Curtis and Renee, we'll put a good group that will be diverse in representation around the state, from sectors. We might even have some folks from out of state who are like, hey, this is what you need to be doing. And hopefully they will give us more of a specific on the timelines and what is achievable.
All right, who's next, Carlos? Oh, okay, Christina, wow.
So Section 5 says your chief prosperity officer and the council will develop recommendations for targeted tax changes in 2027. Obviously, those still need to be developed, but can you give us an idea of what those tax changes, or what would be targeted, I guess?
Well, I think there's been a lot of conversation about, does our tax structure work to support business? I want to remind folks, we've done a lot of great work, and with legislators here with me today, with our semiconductor industry. We've expanded for example, our research and development tax credit for our semiconductor industry. I think we're anticipating $250 million plus in tax relief through the next decade for our semiconductor industry. That was a very targeted asset people had out of the semiconductor task force. So when it comes to tax changes, whether they're local or statewide, we're looking to the council to say, what is the best way to do this? We have to balance what does that mean if revenue's not coming in for other things we need to pay for in the state. But this is a moment to be specific about what we can do. That's why I'll be asking the legislature for at least some one-time dollars in this upcoming legislative session, despite our budgetary challenges, because we have to get serious and say we have a little bit of money that we can help develop sites and remove barriers to growth. And I think we have to do that now. So that's not even in the tax realm.
Go ahead, Carlos.
I guess I should have gone first because you took my question. From my colleague, we had a story this morning that showed 7.4% of Portland's affordable apartments are sitting empty. That number holds serious repercussions for the economic stability of the thousands of low-income Oregonians who are on the wait list for that type of housing. Do you think the state should step in to figure out why there's such a massive disconnect and propose ways to start filling those vacancies?
Well, as we know, I think one of the biggest economic challenges for Oregon is housing, and I'm going to continue to push hard on making sure we can build more housing, and we'll have some information out here shortly about where we're headed in that direction. I did see the article. I appreciated the article. I have lots of questions about the article. I will follow up with you.
All right.
Because we don't need to have places empty. People need homes.
I was wondering if you have like a specific dollar amount in mind for the site readiness or anything else, any other asks?
Well, I think we have to be serious around the $40 to $50 million range.
Anybody has an last one yet? All right.
You guys can tell me this is totally misguided. I just want to maybe bring up some contradictions that people might be concerned about. And business leaders who have this background, please step forward if that's the case. You've seen a massive increase in semiconductor manufacturing in Oregon, obviously building off of a tradition of that, in large part to accelerate what was called the AI revolution that hinges on efficiency, which is losing jobs. We talk about a timber industry in a state that has, was it last month or 2 months ago, you passed an executive order saying state agencies, you need to start thinking about carbon inventory, greenhouse gas emissions. Meanwhile, you have a state with some of the most antiquated timber laws in the West. 3 times as much timber comes out of Oregon as California, twice as much comes out of Oregon as Washington, because they have even more stringent regulations on timber. Obviously, we have more state, private, federal stuff to deal with. But I guess I'm just wondering, like, when we talk about extractive industries and climate change, when we talk about semiconductor manufacturing and AI and jobs, can you speak to some of the fears people might have about this and maybe some of the contradictions among your policies if you see them?
You know, I don't see them as contradictory or in conflict. If you look at my executive orders on climate, the last couple I've done, it is about capitalizing our natural and working lands to hold on to carbon, to reduce carbon pollution in the atmosphere. That's not about new regulations. That's about public and private partnerships to say, how do we work together to steward the land in a way that will be here for decades to come? That is both economically smart and smart for our public health and our climate goals here in the state. We are in a time of transition. I know that sounds really kind of cliche, but come on, right? The world is changing. Jobs will be changing. We have some of our higher ed and post-secondary training partners here with us. How do we skill up individuals from what they're doing now to doing something new? We have the potential to do that. When we're using automation for other things, there are going to be other things that people need to be doing. The key for us is making sure that our education partners know how to help people make that transition. So the workforce issues will be important in this conversation. So I don't know if anyone, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but if anyone from higher ed wants to say something, but we have to focus on that. So again, I think this, like, it's not an either or conversation. Oregon is who we are because what we value is attractive to a lot of people. That's why people live here. We believe we can grow here and hold on to our values if we are smart and strategic about it, which is why we're taking these approaches today.
Sorry, Mr. Kotek back. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. Eric Williams with Channel 12 KPTV. Perception is often a reality, especially for businesses and people outside of the state. What is your office going to attempt to do to hopefully dispel and combat any negative perception to attract some of these businesses to relocate here?
Well, we're starting that today, and I'm counting on the folks here to help me with that. When I sit in a room of investors in Portland, and I've been spending a lot of time helping Portland get back on its feet, investors say, we love Portland, and they list all the things they love. But we do have a perception challenge. So we're working really hard on that, trying to tell the stories of success. This is important today to say we are here to help our businesses. And if I can be a little bit doom and gloom, it does not help when the President of the United States has misinformation about our major city. But we're gonna push back on that. Perception, you get over that by being clear about where you're going and who your supporters are. I think we have a great show of support today to say we can grow economically in this state if we're serious, if we're targeted, and we can do it and still create good jobs and maintain our values. I think we can do that because Oregon can do hard things.
I've got time for 2 more, the corner in the back, and then I'll be there.
Devin Haskins with KGW News. I want to talk about cost of living in that CNBC poll that you gave out or referenced. Oregon received a D- in that CNBC poll for top states for business. How do you increase that? It also dropped from 2024 to 2025. Then I'm curious, from a business any troubles in recruiting because of cost of living?
Well, I think cost of living is a challenge across the country, and you're seeing that in a lot of the political debate right now. We are making strides, and I want to appreciate our legislative partners for example, trying to make sure we can monitor the cost of utilities for residential households. How do we keep that in check for folks so they can, pay their bills at the end of the month? I believe that a clean energy future can be more affordable. I think that what we need to be doing around affordability is getting people good paying jobs and building homes that are affordable. That's a priority for me. It'll continue to be a priority for me. We all have to get serious about that as an issue, and I think we are putting a lot of things in place. I have put a lot of things in place, and we're going to have some information out here in the following week that says hundreds of thousands of units are in the process because of that work. Now we just got to get them built. So that's what we have to talk about, permitting and where employers want to grow and get their help and work with our local governments. This is a concerted effort, everybody working together to make it happen.
All right, last question. Eric, go for it.
A lot of times when we talk about this, we hear businesses talking about easing constraints in our land use system. You've been open to do that for both CHIPS and housing. I don't think I see it in this, and because I know people are going to continue talking about it, I want to know where you stand. Are you open to further reformations of the land use planning laws?
Again, I'll be looking to the Prosperity Council to give me specifics, but here's what I'll say. Our land use system is 50 years old. If we think that everything that is happening today is 100% the same it was 50 years ago, then we are not moving with the times. When it comes to housing, I've been very specific on targeted UGB expansions and other things to make sure land is available for more housing. I think we have to have an open mind when it comes to industrial site readiness in the state, because if places want to grow, they need a plot of land to grow on, and I think we have to have those conversations, and I think we can continue to protect our forests and our farmland the way we want to and have industrial growth.
All right, thanks everybody. Now I have the mic. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, everyone.